What's up, Gio?
What's up?
You ready?
Yeah. On this first episode of Fitness Junkeez, I'm with Vanessa Saros at the Kilo Club in Summerlin, Las Vegas. Today, Vanessa is going to give me her favorite lower body exercise if she could only choose one.
This is a single leg exercise. So I'm going to start with my right, focusing on your right glute. You're going to step back with your left.
Her favorite ab exercise.
This is the rope crunch. When you pay attention, I'm keeping my hands steady by my head here, and I'm bringing my face down to my knees.
And her favorite upper body exercise.
So I'm going to start at the top, and you're going to do like a smooth arc around.
And later, we're going to see Vanessa in a bikini. We're going to get her body fat tested at DexaFit Las Vegas. So stay tuned. What's up, Fit Fam? This is Giovanni of Gio's Logic, your host of Fitness Junkeez. We're here in our new Sticky Paw Studios in Las Vegas, and I'm here with some really exciting guests. My friend, Vanessa Saros. How are you, darling?
I'm doing great. How
Awesome.
are you, Gio?
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
The reason I wanted Vanessa on this first show was because she's gorgeous, she has a great personality, and when I asked her to be on the show, she said yes.
Good reasons. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. My other guest is our health expert or practitioner, Juan, and I'm not going to try and pronounce your last name. Can you pronounce it for us?
Dolegowski.
Dolegowski. Oh, that's what that's
I
not
look
that
Polish,
hard.
right?
Right.
I don't confuse
Right.
people.
Juan's the owner of DexaFit Las Vegas, and you'll soon know why I wanted Juan here. And she was also so kind to say yes when I asked her. Thank you, Juan.
Honored to be here. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So the topic, the main topic of this show is why resolutions fail, specifically New Year's resolutions. And I did some research and found that 50% of adults in the United States make New Year's resolutions. And about 10% of those people keep them for only a few months. And about 8% of those people ever foresee those resolutions coming true. So what I want to know is, why do you think resolutions fail?
I think it's because people put too short of a timeline. They don't really think about how much time and consistency it really takes to make changes in your life. You're not going to change your life in 3 months, but you can change a habit in 3 months, and then maybe 3 months after that or 6 months after that, then you'll see real progress. And that's when people get really excited and continue. When they start seeing the real results, that motivates them more to keep going. If you give yourself a really short timeline, they're like, oh, well, this isn't working. It's such a small difference, if any noticeable difference at all. And then they end up giving up, or life gets busy and they're like, oh, well, it's already March, it's already April, and my life hasn't changed. Might as well wait and try again next year. But
Right.
My way of thinking, I never really do New Year's resolutions. I change my habits throughout the year, and if I haven't achieved something, every single week, every month, it's right there in the front of my head that I need to get on this. I need to change something. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow. This is what I'm going to do next week to get back on track and go toward that goal.
See, that's really important to note here, that your method, my method, and Juan's method of staying focused on our New Year's resolutions are unique. So each person has their kind of code. Mm-hmm. Let me say that differently. Each person that's successful with keeping their resolutions has a code to get themselves to motivate. The reason I was talking about that I wanted Juan on this show was because I use DEXA scans to keep my laser focus on my fitness plan. And I try and set up about 2 or 3 of them a year. And I use each one of them to create a reason why I say no to that ice cream, or the reason why I say no to that pizza. Because in the back of my head, I know that on, I think it's March 21st.
It's coming up.
I have
Another one?
DEXA
Yeah.
scan.
Are you nervous, Gio?
No, I'm not. Okay. I've been good. It works.
No, you've been good. You're good.
Yeah.
What's your method to keep yourself focused, or do you make resolutions?
I don't. I think a lot of people feel kind of like with a timeline. It's not. It's too vague. It's not measurable. So when they have a vague goal like I want to lose weight. Well, like how are you going to do it? I think if you have more concrete goals and timeline to achieve them, they're more achievable.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do resolutions. I mean, if I have a goal, I don't need New Year's to make that a time to do it.
Right.
I just do it. Yeah.
Now, I come from the school of motivation is not this esoterical thing that you were waiting for and then you get it. Oh my God, I'm motivated. I believe that the most effective pieces of motivation are external forces in our life, like a wedding date or a bodybuilding competition. That's the type of thing that really motivates people to stay focused. Professional athletes have their game and playing at a certain level. Bodybuilders in general, they go through their off-season pig out session. That's why I teach that you have to create things like scheduling a DEXA fit or whatever, going to a vacation, whatever you can create that gives you a reason to focus. Because what I find is that my clients tend to, if they don't have a reason why, they can easily go, oh, well, why not? Mm-hmm. I know you have things in your life like your photo shoots and all those things that you're doing. You're even doing a fitness thing soon. Is that right?
What do you mean? No. Competitions or
No,
anything?
No. Are you doing a fitness platform or
like YouTube
or anything? I don't know.
I don't know. Everybody's trying to get me to. I'm trying to get myself to do that. I guess that's something I should have done for a New Year's resolution, because I can keep myself really motivated when it comes to fitness and taking care of myself. But when it comes to pushing myself in business or choosing a new career path, because I've pretty much just ended my last occupation. I was in bottle service here in Las Vegas, and it was a great job. That's something that definitely motivates girls to stay fit and, throughout the whole year. And every single year we have to re-audition. But yeah, for me, business and taking, kind of those scary steps, like for me starting a YouTube here, talking on the microphone is a little bit nerve-wracking for me.
You couldn't tell.
So
I know, right? Such a
natural.
natural.
YouTube, I keep telling myself I'm going to do it, and I have all these ideas, and I've shot videos, but it's a little scary for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something I plan to do, but
so let's hear a little bit.
I have to make more concrete goals and get it done.
And not too aggressive, cause baby steps.
Yeah, I'm taking baby steps.
Little pint-sized baby steps. Let's get a little bite about your fitness journey. I know you've been an athlete all your life. Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
Well, as a kid, I played outside for like 10 hours every single day. I loved PE. I was really competitive. I loved being able to beat the boys in like pull-ups and running the mile and climbing the rope, and all of those things just gave me such a sense of accomplishment and so much excitement. I loved that. And I did dance in elementary school, and then I moved into gymnastics and competitive gymnastics, and I did that for several years, and that was really intense. That was 5 or 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, competitions on the weekends. So I think that just made it concrete in my mind. This is a part of my life. This is important. And I really enjoyed it. And then when I quit that, just because it was too intense with school and doing well in school, it's nearly impossible, but some girls can do it. when I quit gymnastics, I needed something to keep me going. And so I started working out in a regular gym and learning. And, you know, like it is for most women, it was a little bit intimidating at first. You don't really know what you're doing. There's mostly guys in there. It's kind of scary. But, you know, I just learned and researched a lot online and watched videos and just tried things. And I just didn't care what people thought of me. And I went in there and I learned how to do it. And then I became really obsessed with it and became very, very passionate. And then I tried a few competitions, like I know you have as well, Juan. And yeah, I think that process taught me a lot. It's not really my thing to stay in the competition world, but I'm really happy I did it because I learned a lot and I can take those lessons with me for the rest of my life.
And Juan, let's hear a little bit about your fitness journey.
Gosh, so I've always been active. So like since I was 15, I kind of got into like lifting and doing videos, and I'm going to date myself, but I did a lot of Jane Fonda videos, and I know probably a lot of you guys don't even know who
That's
Jane
my
Fonda
generation, baby. Yeah.
So I do know who that is. So I got into that, and you know, I was active, you know, lifted on and off, and then got into endurance sports, did a lot of marathons and running and things like that. And it wasn't until I lifted, you know, throughout the years, but I didn't get really serious until I was about 44. And I just, you know, just looked in the mirror, just like a lot of women do. They just don't like what they look like. And I just, you know, decided at the time, you know what, I'm going to take it to the next level. So I hired an online coach for the first time. And throughout the process, just got really serious with my nutrition and my workouts, and then decided to do some bikini competitions, bodybuilding competitions. And then I would say since then, everything's been consistent. So this is where, you know, I think nutrition is important and your workouts are important. And, you know, some people try to, you know, ignore the nutrition part or vice versa. But I think it's important. All aspects are important. So.
Yeah, I know a little bit about your recent past. You were a pharmacist, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to also go out on a limb. Is it? Do you say your culture is the Asian culture? I don't know. I want to get canceled already on my first show. Oh, he said the wrong thing.
Yeah,
but does that affect her lifestyle?
Right. And I know. At least my experience with the Asian culture is they want their offsprings to be doctors. And
yes.
Were they upset when you moved to this new, like, what are you doing?
No, the only people's opinions that really mattered are my husband's and my parents to a certain degree.
Right.
But my parents were extremely supportive. They never once told me, what are you doing? I can't believe you did that. You know, you work so hard to be a pharmacist. You're throwing away your education. Like, I didn't get any of that. I was so fortunate that I had their support. Great. And if anyone, you know, other people did tell me I was crazy for doing what I did, but it didn't matter, you know. But I was fortunate. They were very, very encouraging. But you're right. Growing up, that's what I live with. Like, you got to be a doctor, you got to be a lawyer. Those are the two only acceptable professions. So I was a failure because I wasn't a doctor or a lawyer. So I kind of got into the medical field. I was a pharmacist. So that was good. I mean, they were like, okay, you know, we like that. But yeah, I mean, they were supporting me. Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice. So back to this dilemma Americans have, and I think people all over the world have. Travis, can you pull up that first slide? For the people that are watching on YouTube, you can see that. For the people that are not, I'm going to read the top 4 the popular New Year's resolutions of 2021 in America. 44% of Americans said they plan to exercise, 42% plan to eat healthier, 34% spend more time with their friends and family, and 31% of Americans want to lose weight. Now, I think if 25% of the 50% of the Americans that kind of held on to some of that stuff, we'd be a totally different country. It would change everything. And considering that 70% of Americans are either overweight or obese, and there's about 40% of those 70% that are obese, and obesity is the worst thing you can have if you want to not die from COVID-19, there's a pretty powerful thing fighting all of us to stay focused on being healthy. And it's really the reason why I wanted to do this podcast, and why I wrote my first book that I'm in the process of editing, is because I've found that there's so much pain and suffering because our poor body image and or health, because we can't stop eating the crap or we're too lazy. So that's why I used DexaFit Las Vegas. You have your things that you focus on to stay motivated. It's really interesting as well. I find that as I got older, I went from more of a vanity focus to a health focus.
Totally.
And it was, and I'm going to age myself because I'm old, when I turned 50, that's when I really started thinking, wow, I got to think about longevity and thriving. And so I also believe we can meet you wherever you are. So whether you're 29 or 57, there's a way to stay motivated to hit your goals and to make your resolutions come true. And now a resolution is really only a decision to either do something or to not do something. I decided I'm going to lose weight, or I'm deciding I'm going to stop smoking cigarettes. You know, those are two types of resolutions. And we make them all the time. But the problem is that people don't do the work to stay focused. I use DexaFit as one thing. I also write down my goals, and I call it my whys. I create a goal and a whys list, and I read them almost every day of the week to set my mind, and like you said earlier, to keep all the reasons why I'm doing this, why I'm saying no, why I'm going to the gym when I'm sore or tired, in the front of my mind. The one thing I do ask all my guest co-hosts are that, what if you could only choose one exercise for upper body, abs, or lower body? One exercise, which exercise would you choose? And we went to Kilo Club in Summerlin, Las Vegas, my home club, by the way.
It's beautiful.
And
Love
the
it.
only place you can get Geo's Logic training in the whole wide world. So let's see what we did with Vanessa's lower body exercise.
So this is a curtsy lunge. I like to do it elevated on a platform. You can also do this with dumbbells hanging down at your sides, or even kettlebells, but I prefer the barbell on my back. And this is a single leg exercise. So I'm going to start with my right, focusing on your right glute. You're going to step back with your left. You're going at a diagonal angle, so stepping back and to the right, and you're pushing in your front heel to put the work in this glute. And if you're a beginner, you definitely want to start with no weight and just master it body weight, so it is very challenging to stay balanced. And one thing that I like to do that some people might argue with me about is put my foot all the way down. I only do this when I know it's a weight that I can really handle with the front leg. The reason I do this is because it makes it so that I can hardly rely on my back leg to do the movement. It forces my front glute to do the work. And you go really slow and controlled.
And about how many reps do you do each leg and sets?
I'll typically do like 10 to 12 reps, 3 or 4 sets. Usually 4. I like to do 4 sets. So, like I said, I wouldn't try it like this unless you're pretty advanced and you're very confident with the weight that you're using. You might be a bit wobbly, so look straight ahead, push in that heel, and go very, very gently on your knee. If you wanted to try this with no weight, you can put a towel under your knee. Make sure you're protecting it. And of course, if you don't want to try that, make sure you land on your toe like this.
Well, that's amazing. If I tried that, you'd be calling 911 right about now. That's amazing.
All right. Whew.
Leg day. That was pretty intense.
I could tell. I know that wasn't easy. I know that it was like it was burning.
I tried to
It's a
get
tough
her.
one.
I tried to get her to use a lighter weight because we're doing videos. She's like, "No, I haven't worked out today." That's called a fitness junkie.
Yeah.
I know how you feel about leg day, and I know you train clients as well. No, you don't. Just nutrition.
I do online coaching, so I program their workouts and do nutrition. What do you think about leg day? How does that, where is that in your important things that you tell your clients to do? Oh, super important. Like it's not an option to skip a body part.
It's not even a question
no,
to you.
because
Right.
like, you can't. You want to have. I don't care. I know that some people have specific goals. Like I want bigger glutes or I want whatever, but doesn't mean that we're going to neglect other body parts in the quest for that. Because you have to have a balanced physique, not only for aesthetics also, but for function too.
Right.
So yeah, you can't skip. Definitely can't skip leg day, but you can't skip any body part, in my opinion.
Right. And I know you love leg day, and you're.
I do now. I used to hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It's so challenging. It
It's
takes
hard.
so much out of you.
Yeah.
I know that's how you know you're doing it right, because you're not looking forward to it. You're pushing yourself.
It's exhausting. And for me, just genetically, naturally, my upper body's stronger and I can put on mass much more easily. If I don't even work out my arms anymore, I just do back and shoulders. Because if I work out my arms, they bulk up very quickly,
Right.
which is awesome. But I already did that so long ago. It's so easy to maintain now. My
Right.
lower body, however, takes so much more work for me to maintain the strength and the size. If I stop, the muscle just melts right off my bottom. So
Right.
I have to work that much harder. And it's hard. It's hard work. So I used to hate it. Now I love it though.
Yeah. So I am a big proponent of leg day, and especially as you get older. There's a lot of science that backs up that once you start losing leg muscle, a lot of different things can start to creep in, from diabetes to all-cause mortality. Things like falling down as you get older. So really, really, please don't skip leg day. And as you get older, and I'm talking 30 and on, practice balance exercise as well, which if you watch that video again of Vanessa, she's actually balancing on that one leg as well. So she's doing great leg work and balancing work at the same time, and that's amazing. Amazing. So the next one we went to was your upper body, and since you gain muscle so easily, we didn't have a lot to go with, but let's look at Vanessa's upper body choice.
This is the Arnold press. I'm going to start up here. So I'm going to start at the top, and you're going to do like a smooth arc around.
So I see people doing these a lot of different ways. Why do you roll it around like that?
instead of this way.
Yeah.
I actually do both.
Okay.
I don't intermix them, but I'll do sets like this. I feel this one more right in the front.
Right.
When I do the arc, I just feel like it stresses the whole.
Yeah, the whole shoulder, except maybe the rear delts.
And your upper chest.
And sets and reps with this?
And this I'll typically do 8 to 10 reps, usually 4 sets.
Okay.
And I usually do supersets, so I would drop those and stand up and do sets of lateral raises or front raises,
only get
something
one.
else.
You only get one.
I can't choose just one, Gio. I gotta do it all.
That was great. That was great. So Vanessa, I'm so like you. I get mad when I see people sitting and resting between sets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a super setter, giant setter.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, boom, 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 boom. Then I rest a little bit and I keep going because I like to kind of keep my heart rate up as well. So I know you don't really do much cardio.
I don't.
Yeah, I do a little bit more. How do you feel about upper body? Obviously, you don't skip body parts. And I know we were talking before about women with breast augmentations that sometimes you can't do upper body exercises.
Yeah, it depends how they're done. So, I mean, if you haven't had them and haven't done the research, this is probably a little shocking, but some women, like myself, it's placed under a layer of your pec muscle, which sounds really odd. So they actually have to cut the muscle, lift it, and the implant is placed underneath. So the muscle still works, but the function of it is a little different. And certain movements now can put more stress on that. And depending on how they've done it, the muscle attachment can be significantly weaker than it was before. So like I do not do bench press or anything directly isolating my chest anymore. I used to love training chest before I got them done, but now certain things like bench press, even pull-ups, it's just really uncomfortable. It's not that you can't do it, but it definitely doesn't have the strength that it had before. And the function just isn't the same. So you just have to be careful and do whatever's comfortable for you.
And I know you had a story about upper body stuff. Did you want to talk about that at all?
Oh, my breast explant surgery?
Yes. Was it anything to do with the muscle or?
No. There are many reasons I wanted to do it. My main reason was for my overall health because I have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune disease.
Yep.
Yeah. So right now I'm just on a quest to be as healthy as possible. So I want to just do anything that would promote that, and I felt like that was possibly, I mean, you were not sure, but potentially harming me.
Right.
And it was just something that I just wasn't willing to risk anymore.
Right.
As far as like breast implant illness symptoms, it can take up to a year to really feel fully recovered. So I can't say, like a lot of women say they wake up from their surgery and all of a sudden they just feel so amazing and like they can breathe. And I didn't have any of those moments. Like it wasn't like all of a sudden like I felt miraculously better. But, I don't regret it at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if ladies out there, if you want to follow Juan, she's very open on her Instagram about her whole. I've seen stuff on there, and I was like, wow, she's really sharing that. And it's, we don't shy away from any topic on Fitness Junkeez. We talk about boobs, we talk about butts, and this is one of my favorite topics. And so follow her and get some information. I'm sure she's willing to talk to you if you have any questions going either way.
Yeah, I'm very transparent. And I also want to make this disclaimer because I feel like it's really important that just because I had mine removed doesn't mean that I have anything against other women who wish to get them or keep them. It's not a judgment about that at all. It's just sharing my personal journey and the reason that I personally did it. I feel like women have a right to do whatever they want to do. Just want them to be informed because sometimes they just don't know. So yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's a huge decision either way to get them removed. I've had many issues with mine that you know about. It's a big decision, and before going in, like, you don't know a whole lot about the possibilities. I know so many women who have had, like myself, multiple surgeries on them. I've also known several women who've gotten theirs explanted in the last year or two as well because of breast implant illness or what they think is breast implant illness. So it's good to just keep your ears open and talk about it and know that these things do exist.
Yeah, yeah. So, not to move away from my favorite topic, but let's see what Vanessa chose for her abdominal choice.
This is one I've been doing a lot more recently. I used to do a lot of V-ups and leg lift variations. Don't do those so much anymore. This is the rope crunch. When you pay attention, I'm keeping my hands steady by my head here, and I'm bringing my face down to my knees, curving my back, and crunching my abs. Curve. It's really a pretty short movement. So your rib cage is almost touching your pelvis,
Right.
and your face is almost touching your knees. And you want to be careful not to do that, swing and arch, because you're also risking hitting your face on the ground, which is not fun. So I also do these sideways for the obliques as well.
Of course you do.
Okay, and switch.
Now, is your philosophy with abs so they burn, or do you have a higher rep range? Or?
Yeah, usually till they're burning. I don't, to be honest, I really don't count for abs. I just go pretty high rep
Okay.
until it burns and I can't do anymore.
Okay. And then a couple sets each side, like 3 sets each side?
I'll usually do 3 sets, yeah.
Okay.
3 sets middle, 3 sets on each side obliques.
So, Vanessa, I saw you strap on something there. What's going on here?
So one of my other favorite cable exercises is for glutes. So that's why I'm wearing these ankle cuffs. What I do is attach this to one side. And instead of the standard kickback, I step over with my opposite leg. I'm going to hang on with both hands here, and I'm going to kick back at an angle.
That looks complicated.
It's not.
And painful.
No. I feel so much better muscle activation this way and focus on just using that muscle. So that's why you'll see me holding it with my hand, which probably looks a little weird.
No, I always tell my clients to do that all the time. Like, feel the muscle.
It helps me
activating.
really focus and contract just that muscle. And you never want to just be throwing the weight back. Like, you want to very carefully and consciously use that muscle to perform the movement.
Wow.
Whew.
That looked amazing.
Yeah. And then between that, if you want, you can superset.
I'm gonna steal that.
You can superset with light, just lateral kicks. If you can handle it. If you're not dying.
That was awesome. Wow. Yeah. Those are awesome. I tried that the other day and I couldn't do it. You're gonna have to train me one day on those.
Yeah. I tried to get you to do it while we were working out.
Yeah, I know. I always say to all the guys with fitness girlfriends or wives to never do leg day with them because they're so intense.
John made that mistake once.
Yes, you guys do so many cool and hardcore things. It's just impressive. But I'll do it someday.
Okay. It takes practice to get that move correctly.
But I want to talk about abdominals. As you'll see, if you haven't watched the whole video here on YouTube, you should tune over to YouTube. Little later, we're going to see Vanessa in a bikini doing her first a DEXA scan. Mm-hmm. And what I want to talk about is the difference between abs and what's really important. That's what's going on with fat distribution in your abdominal area, and that's your expertise.
Yeah. So the nice thing about the DEXA scan is that it will differentiate how much visceral fat you have. So that's the fat that surrounds your organs, that causes inflammation, can increase your risk for getting other diseases. So it goes way beyond aesthetics at that point. It's a health marker. So, when you have a lot of visceral fat, it does increase your risk for getting diabetes, stroke, heart disease, other conditions. And so I tell people, people want to look good, but you got to think about what's going on inside.
Right, right. And that's different. So men usually store their fat in their lower abdominals. Women tend to store it in different places. But do you find that women have a lot of visceral fat as well, or can have a lot of visceral fat as well?
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't discriminate.
Wow.
Yeah, but I do believe there is a genetic component to how much where you tend to store fat. We can't control where our body holds on to fat. We can't control where it comes off. And I do find that some people just tend to carry more fat in the belly region. The men do for sure, but women are not immune to having high amounts of visceral fat.
And guys and gals out there, it's not the pinch the inch fat. It's the fat that's like internal.
Around your organs.
Right.
Yeah. So for all you guys, you can still have your love handles and be healthy.
That's true. That's true.
So me and Vanessa went to DEXA scan in Las Vegas, and I thought she was potentially a single digit person,
way.
But we'll see what she ended up at.
Value of this is to really track your progress, but also to measure other important health markers that a lot of other body composition tests can't measure. So things like bone density is a big one, because you want to see if you are at risk for osteoporosis. And then it also measures visceral fat. So that's the fat that's deep in your belly that can cause inflammation and can increase risk. Yes, right? Exactly. So those are the two big ones. But of course, it's going to break down your body fat percent, your lean mass, your fat mass, any imbalances that you might have between your right and your left side.
I'm really interested in that part.
Yeah. And then this way you can, for future tests, you can track your progress and see if whatever program you're working on is working, and then make adjustments from there. All right, Vanessa, so let's get you on the table.
Okay,
I'll help position you. So head will be on this end. And I want you
back.
Yes, on your back. Okay, I want your head. Good. That's perfect right there. Yeah. All right, so let's get you centered. Perfect. So I'm going to strap your ankles here with a Velcro strap.
Okay.
And then what I want I want your arms straight by your side and palms facing your thighs like a toy soldier. That's perfect. And make sure you don't move. That's a perfect position right there. Okay? So I'm going to start the scan. This part of the unit is going to move. So I'm going to start at your head, pass over your body, it will end at your feet. And it's going to be a little less than 6 minutes long. DEXA stands for Dual Energy X-ray Absorptiometry. So what it does is separates bone from soft tissue. So it uses low dose radiation. There's two different beams. And so it starts at the head and it slowly passes over the body. And you can see where the skull is coming up, and then it'll show an image of her entire body. And as it progresses, at the very end, it will show the actual DEXA scan image, and I'll show that when it's done. Okay, so white is bone, green is lean tissue. So when people think of lean tissue, they only think that it's muscle, but it isn't. There's also water, connective tissue, your organs, all of that. And any red that you see is fat. Okay, so I'm going to print this out, and then I'm going to go over that with you.
I told my boyfriend I'm at least 15% body fat. That's my guess. And he was like, no way, it's going to be like 9. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
I predicted 15 to 17%.
Yes.
Now I could be totally wrong. I only saw like this part. Like, a lot of times if seeing someone's backside gives me a better idea sometimes. And I know what 9% looks like. The 9%, you're gonna be shredded. Like you're gonna see like striations. Yeah, right. Yeah. So we'll see.
That's what I told him.
16.8%.
Yeah. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about.
16.8%.
Told ya.
I like to think I'm pretty good at this, but then sometimes like I'm way off. So I usually try not to say what I think it is unless someone specifically asks me point blank. So give me a few moments. I'm going to get your report together and I'll go over it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. You were almost 17 and you predicted it like on the head. The two of you.
Yeah.
Conspiring.
Such a big misconception.
It
People
is,
say, like,
it
you have
is.
no body fat. Body fat, a little bit is healthy. 17%
important.
is healthy.
Very, and that's considered, lean too.
Yeah,
Right.
that
Yeah.
sounds high, but it's not. It's actually
Right.
very low for
Right.
women.
Right. I'm an 18. At least I was an 18.
That's great.
I think I'm getting better. You also do a lot of other stuff at DexaFit Las Vegas. What else do you do?
I also do resting metabolic rate tests, so that calculates how many calories you're burning at rest and how many calories you should be eating, and if your metabolism is slow, normal, or fast. And I also do a VO2 max cardiovascular fitness test. So basically, consider that like a grade for your heart. A lot of people, really don't see the value of that test because people are more concerned with, what's my body fat and how much should I be eating, but not understanding how your heart is so very important to your overall health.
I am obsessed with it. I have an Apple Watch and a Whoop strap.
Okay.
I am so all in on HRV and sleep and recovery. And I know you believe the philosophy, what can be measured, what's measured can be improved. So I really recommend people that are watching this or that are trying to change their life to get a DEXA scan and start the process there, because that'll be your benchmark so that you can see how you're improving. And then also regular checkups. They even do, if you don't have insurance, Quest Labs, now you can sign up for your own blood test and get your blood work test. So if you change your diet and you're changing your routine and you want to know if you're really getting healthier, you really need to do the test to make sure you're on the right track. So other than the DexaFit, you do a 360, and we did that with Vanessa as well. So let's take a look at that.
All right, so Vanessa, you're going to do a Fit 3D scan next. So it's really short scan. It's about 40 seconds long. But during this time, you just have to stand still, stand like a statue. So you're first going to create an account on the computer. Okay. Then you're going to step on the feet. And then you're going to lift up the handles like you're picking up a suitcase. Okay. So straight like that. Then when you're ready, you're going to press both the buttons down on the handles, right here. And you're going to stand like a statue. So during this time, you're going to start feeling this bottom part's a turntable. It's going to start turning 360 degrees.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then there's an infrared camera here. It's going to slide up and down this post.
Okay.
And that's what's going to capture your 3D image.
And what is this scan going to tell us that the DEXA doesn't?
So this is going to
What's
measure
it?
your body circumference measurements. So it's almost like a tape measure, like external measurements. That way if you want to track those, if you're going to gain or lose inches, you can track those changes. Because the DEXA scan won't do circumference measurements. It does more like an internal snapshot. So I kind of consider this like an external snapshot, and the DEXA scan is like an internal snapshot. Okay. Okay.
So these two together are the full picture.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Great.
Okay. So go ahead and help yourself. Yeah.
That's got to be my favorite fitness video there. You get to see a girl whirling around in a bikini.
Yes.
Slow motion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss. So, and that test is done privately. There's no cameras. You go in the room by yourself.
Yes. I always step out of the room.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it really does. And you're even getting more into wanting to balance your body and know, okay, I need to work more on this side or that side.
Yeah. I mean, I really always have been, but so I'm very in tune with it. Like, I know my right glute is bigger and stronger than my left. And so the measurements are interesting to actually see them in detail. But
did you have any other questions about that? I know we didn't have a lot of time when we left her office.
I have the results of the Fit 3D scan here. And one thing I wanted to ask was the fitness level thing. Here, I'll show you this. It says my basal metabolic rate is 1,084. And it's, here, I'll have you take a look at it. I don't think we went over this in the...
So, oh yeah.
And for me, it says below average. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for me?
Oh, no, so this BMR is actually, if you type this into like a TDEE calculator, you come up with the same number. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like this information is kind of, it doesn't really help the person.
Okay.
Because all it just says is what your BMR is. And it might not even be your actual BMR, because that's why I do the RMR test, because everyone's is a little bit different. So if you have a long history of chronically dieting, your BMR might actually be lower than this number. Okay. So this is the minimum, like this is what you're burning just like at rest, like not doing anything at all. Yeah. So as far as like how you compare, it's just, yeah, that's just
it's not really relevant because it doesn't factor in all of the things that you do every day.
Yes, and exactly. Okay. Your activity level, it doesn't factor in like what you do, your workouts, also like your history is a huge part of establishing what it should be.
Yeah. And every single thing you do every day, doing chores, running errands, like all of those things adds up a lot of calories.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, this was cool to see though, all of the measurements. It looks like a little Sims.
So why I gravitated towards the DEXA scan is because it's the industry standard. Is that correct?
It's considered the gold standard.
Right. And the number on the scale cannot tell the whole story. And a lot of people that weigh themselves every day and obsess on the number of the scale, you really are missing the true value of getting healthier. Can you speak any more about that, or does that nail it on the head?
Yes, I think this society, we're just so obsessed with like the number on the scale, and it makes or breaks people's day. And I tell people that's just a number, and it's so hard because we've been brainwashed into thinking like, well, if the scale goes up, that means I gain fat. If it went down, oh yeah, I can have a good day. Right. But the value of the DEXA scan is it's going to track progress over time, and it's going to show you where the changes are happening. So, before you get all upset that your scale went up 5 pounds, well, what if it was lean mass? Like, that's something to celebrate,
Right.
Or, if you lost 5 pounds and it wasn't all fat, that's not so good. So, it just kind of puts everything into context.
Yeah. All the science people is churning towards keeping your lean muscle mass as long as you can. It's for all-cause mortality. When you lose muscle mass, not bulkiness, but lean muscle mass, it's a marker for all-cause mortality. So I always recommend at least 2 times a week with resistance training, but I like to do at least 3, depending on no matter how old you are. Did you agree with that?
Totally.
Yeah.
There's a medical term called sarcopenia, so age-related muscle loss, and people don't understand that we do lose muscle every year, and the only way to really combat that is to resistance train, and it just goes beyond aesthetics. It's talking about like you want to be able to get off the toilet, and those are the little things that you really think about when you're younger, but the things that help you be independent with your daily life. And, if you lose muscle, you're at risk for falling, risk for dying. Those are things that are very real. So it's more than just looking good.
Yeah.
And that also plays into your bone mass, right? Your bone density, which
exactly.
we talked about.
Yes, yours is very, very high.
I had a quick question on that though before I pat myself on the back. So I know I know the white is bone, but it's also showing my breast implants as well.
Yes.
So is that factoring into my bone density that we were talking
Well,
about?
actually, yes, it does. Yes, but very minimal.
Very minimal.
Very,
Okay.
very minimal.
So I don't want to say like it's shooting up because of that.
No,
Okay.
it's not. It's gonna be so little.
Okay,
And
good. I was like, oh,
No.
did I cheat there?
No, because yours, even with that, yours was so high. But yes, resistance training is important for preventing osteoporosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So hers was,
Yeah.
her T-score was, I can't see this.
So she was saying mine's really high because I've been so active my entire life, you know, doing gymnastics and being such an active kid and weight training for the last 10 years. I've built a really strong skeletal system, which is going to be really important for me when I reach, you know, 60 to 80 years old. And like you were saying, that if you have issues with your muscle mass and your bone density and you end up falling and, you know, breaking a hip or breaking a leg, it's so much harder on you if your body can't handle minor stress.
Exactly.
And I think not only muscles is a great longevity factor, I think muscle looks really sexy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On women
It's beautiful.
specifically.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. And the haters out there that aren't attracted to this are crazy.
I think they're lying.
I agree. Well, ladies, this has been great. I really, really appreciate you both stepping up to do the first Fitness Junkies. You guys were both great. I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And I will see you guys hopefully next week. And remember, the sooner you get hooked on this content, the sooner you'll get the body you want and the health you deserve. See you soon.